Okay, so what if I told you there's a novel, written back in 2018, that basically predicts the headlines of 2020? Seriously, this story is so much more than a thriller. It's this eerily accurate look at what happens when ancient prophecies, cutting-edge science, and the lives of three totally different people slam into each other.
And that's how it starts. No warm-up, no easing in. Just boom. It was Judgment Day. Right away, you know the stakes are incredibly high, and you're left wondering, Judgment Day for who? And for what?
So the story throws us right into this stunning but absolutely horrifying image. We're on this beautiful, pristine golf course in a luxury resort, but it's been turned into a mass grave. And here's the really chilling detail. The bodies aren't just buried. They've been carefully arranged to form a sacred lotus flower, a symbol of life, now outlining a scene of mass death.
And right in the middle of this awful sight, they find something unbelievable. One man is still alive, though he's unconscious. Turns out, he's a wealthy businessman named Nabil al-Mashri. He's the very center of this whole mystery. And on his arm, there's a strange, fresh wound right next to a mysterious blue cross tattoo.
Okay, so with this massive mystery setup, the story then zooms out. It introduces us to the three main players at the heart of all this. They're living completely separate lives, and they have no idea that their worlds are about to collide in a huge way.
So first, you've got Nabil, the visionary businessman we just met, who's guided by these powerful prophetic dreams. Then, thousands of miles away in Milan, there's Aurora Luigi, a brilliant scientist who's right on the edge of a major breakthrough. And finally, in a small, quiet village in Egypt, we meet Amin al-Muhammadi, a humble family man. These three couldn't be more different, but their fates are about to get tangled up for good.
And here's where the story gets really clever. It starts dropping hints about this strange link between the supernatural and science. On one side, you have this circular maze that keeps appearing in Nabil's dreams, and on the other, you have a scientific barcode from Aurora's lab. It's like the novel is putting these two images right next to each other, basically asking us, see this? What do you think this hidden connection could possibly be?
So, what is it? What could possibly be powerful enough to bring these three separate worlds crashing together? Well, it's an unseen enemy, a deadly, fast-spreading, and totally unknown virus.
And this illness moves with terrifying speed. Check this out. On day 1, Nabil's best friend gets sick in Cairo. The very next day, hundreds of miles away, the teacher Amin gets sick after just a regular trip to the airport. And by day 4, both men are in a deep coma. They've never met, but they're suffering the exact same fate at the exact same time.
The mystery just gets deeper when you line up their symptoms. I mean, look at this. They are identical. A raging fever that no medicine can touch, these strange spots that start showing up on their skin, and then a quick descent into a coma. It confirms it. Two men from two completely different walks of life are battling the exact same terrifying illness.
And this brings us to the real nail-biting part of the story. You have this desperate search for a cure happening in one corner of the world, while a revolutionary discovery is happening in another. And the craziest part? Neither one knows the other exists.
I mean, the dramatic tension here is just incredible. At the exact same time the doctors are telling Nabil his friend is dying from a virus with absolutely no cure, Aurora, in her lab in Milan, proves her new antidote works. Her test sample comes back completely negative. The problem and its only solution are happening at the same time, worlds apart.
And this is where the novel really leans into the idea of the butterfly effect. Aurora herself actually thinks about it. She wonders how her team's work, just a single successful test on a little guinea pig, could possibly spark a tornado on the other side of the planet. She has no idea just how right she is.
But, finding a cure is only half the battle. This crisis immediately starts to expose the massive inequalities in society. It turns into this complex game of power, survival, and, unfortunately, exploitation.
To really get Nabil, you have to understand what happened to him when he was young. He watched his friend Moheb get violently beaten by a police officer. And that day, he learned a brutal lesson. Justice isn't enough to protect you. Real safety only comes when you're allied with the powerful. That idea becomes his entire strategy for life.
And this quote just lays his thinking bare. He's totally pragmatic. He knows that bringing corrupt officials onto his company's board will cost him millions. But he doesn't see it as a bribe. He sees it as an investment. He's paying for protection and influence, making sure he'll never be helpless like that ever again.
Now, in complete contrast to Nabil and his power plays, you have the teacher, Amin. His symbol isn't some corporate logo. It's a simple tattoo of a sparrow. For people without power, survival isn't about strategy. It's about hope, it's about faith, and it's about being at the mercy of others.
And that vulnerability gets exploited in the cruelest way. Desperate to save Amin, his family gets conned by a doctor who says he can get Amin into a secret research center with a miracle cure. They hand over every penny they have, their life savings, only to get nothing but excuses. It's just a brutal reminder that in a crisis, one person's tragedy is another person's business opportunity.
So the novel weaves everything together: a lab in Milan, a boardroom in Cairo, a family's desperate prayer, all to ask this one really unsettling question. What happens when a global health crisis is also a business opportunity, a test of morality, and a deadly power game? Remember, this was written in 2018. It forces us to think about how a pandemic doesn't just test our health, it reveals the true health of our society.